welcome to the Shaken Up Show Playing Away Episode 5, the show that takes us behind the doors of the clubs that we're going to be playing on the road this season. This week's guest is former manager, assistant manager, player, coach and current director of Thackley AFC, former Bradford City player, Andy Patterson. Before we get into the interview though, there are a couple of things I would like to tell you about. If you want to come and watch us play Thackley on Saturday, the tickets are on sale on the website at www.buryafc.uk/tickets. And also while you're there, you can get your season tickets. If you don't want a full season ticket, you can also buy an autumn pass. The autumn pass is £40 and it gets you access to the first 7 games of the season. But without further ado, Andy, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, and you're most welcome. As we've just been chatting before, purpose of the show is to get to know some people in the non-league, make some friends along the way, and just get to know a bit more about what to expect and what's coming up for us, really, on this journey we're hoping to go through. So, I'll crack straight in. If you can introduce yourself, tell us a bit more about your role at the club and how you got involved.
Oh, where would I start? My name's Andy Patterson. I'm currently a director at Thackley AFC Limited. I've been on the committee now for a couple of years. I've had various roles, starting as a player back in 2001. It's been that long. I've been the first team manager, the reserve team manager, assistant manager. So there isn't that much at the club I haven't sort of been part of. I'm currently, as I say, a director, but I help maintain the ground. I do a lot of the ground stuff. So the state of the pitch will be sort of my responsibility on Saturday and things like that. So yeah, I've worn many hats at the club, shall we say.
Okay. And do you have a background in football? Is that how you got into it?
Yeah, from leaving school, I was a professional footballer at Bradford City. Through their glory years, shall we say, from sort of 97 through to 2001, when I left Bradford. I sadly fell out of love with football, shall we say. And Thackley took me under their wing, and the family orientation of the way the club's run sort of drew me in, and eventually I rekindled my love for football. But it wasn't what it was in terms of I didn't ever really want to go back and play professional football. I did it because it was kind of playing with my mates for a club that I now hold very dear to my heart.
Great stuff. Okay, a lot of our fans are probably only hearing of Thackley since we've announced this friendly. Like I say, we're trying to get to know the clubs we're playing. So where are you based? What's your stadium called? What's your nickname?
We are the Denny Boys. We're based in Thackley in Bradford. We have the current name is the Key Workers Stadium at Dennyfield. We sort of renamed it sort of as the start of COVID. We felt that was our way of giving back a little bit and obviously making sure that it stayed out there in the general public for a period of time. For obviously everything that everybody's gone through, I suppose, in the last 18 months or so, whatever it's been now. And yeah, we're a lovely little club that's situated up quite a long lane, so it feels like you're going into the back of nowhere. But when you get there, it's a very picturesque sort of stadium where we are and ground. We've got some great, stunning views, but nothing beats what goes on the pitch, obviously.
Excellent. And what can the fans, apart from a trip down the long lane, expect from a trip to your ground?
Well, you'll certainly get a very warm welcome from everybody within the club. It's always been that way. It's notorious for that. We treat everybody the same, regardless of whether we're our close rivals or a first visit, as yourselves will be. We have a lovely renovated clubhouse that we've just sort of finished. Sadly, we finished it just as COVID kicked in, so we've not really had the benefit of using it yet. So thankfully, we're getting to the stage where we can still have fans back in there now and start selling the beer like we used to. As I say, a very picturesque little ground that we have. It's old-fashioned in lots of ways, but we're slowly but surely getting to the stage where we're modernising it. There's lots of projects on the go. But yeah, it's in a beautiful little setting, and it's run by a group of 12 committee members who are all very friendly, very warm, welcoming, and it's something we're quite notoriously well known for in our league. And sadly, we've been in that league for a very long time, so we've developed that lovely little reputation, but it's something we do pride ourselves on.
Fantastic. The Bury fans do love a beer, so I think we'll be able to shift plenty of that.
That's good.
So yeah, as you've said, obviously with COVID and whatnot, it's been a bit of a rough a rough couple of years for football at all levels, really, but especially at non-league. So the last sort of full league that you did, you mentioned you've been in the same league for a while now. What to tell our fans what league that is, and what position were you in the last full season?
Now you're asking a question now. We're in the North East Counties Premier Division. We've been in that division, I'm pretty certain. I'm sure one of the old boys on the committee will correct me if I'm not wrong. We've been in that pretty much since its inception, which is quite a lot of years ago, I'm told. It was definitely before my time, that is for sure. And to be honest, I think our last full campaign, I think we were around sort of 10th, 8th, 10th, somewhere like that in the last proper full campaign that I can remember. I know when COVID kicked in, we were struggling a little bit. We'd had a bit of a dip. We were having one of those years where it didn't seem to want to go in for us. And the games that should have realistically, we probably should have won through the way we played and dominated the games. We weren't quite getting the finishing touches. Well, unfortunately, we lacked a Greavesy from our point of view. I suppose if we'd have had Tom along the way, I dare say we would probably be in a far better position than we're in now. Although with COVID, you never know, I don't suppose. And obviously when COVID kicked in, it played a bit of havoc, really, as I'm sure it did for absolutely everybody. You know, we're not going to cry the poor tale in that respect, but results certainly weren't where we wanted them to be as a club. And I know Pat, our manager, definitely didn't want them to be there. But again, you know, we've been quite, since Pat came on board, we've been quite renowned for bringing the youth through from our junior setup and bringing in youngsters from locally that have been discarded a little bit and had the confidence dented. We've sort of taken them and given them a home. And thankfully, that's really paid off for us over the last sort of, well, sadly, just before COVID kicked in. And then obviously we've had a bit of issues with the COVID thing. But to be fair to the boys, they've all been loyal and some have moved on and up. It's not worked out through, I'm guessing, through COVID and various things like that. And you know, thankfully, the impression we've made, they've come back. So, you know, we're hoping to have a bit of a strong season, a stronger squad than we've had for the last couple of years.
Fantastic.
So hopefully we'll be pushing on.
So your league would be the equivalent to the North West Counties Premier, is that right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. We're just literally the other side, I suppose, of the hill, for want of a better way of putting it.
Excellent, okay. And what sort of game should our fans expect from a Thackley AFC side then?
Tough one, I'm hoping. A very tough one. We like to keep the ball. We like to play possession football. We quite pride ourselves on that a little bit. You know, he promotes the game to be played the right way, does Pat. So it can be quite pretty on the eye. Can be quite frustrating at times, don't get me wrong. So yeah, I think it'll be a tough game for yourselves. We're a very well organised side. As I say, we like to try and keep the ball. We've got plenty of energy, which comes with the youthfulness in the side. So yeah, I'd like to think we'll give you a tough game in that respect.
Excellent. And who's the one standout? Who should the fans look out for?
Well, I don't want to give too much away, to be honest. And also, it'll depend on who plays. You know, I don't want to speak too soon. We've got a game tomorrow evening. Obviously, injuries free. We've got a couple of those stalwarts in Paul Whiteley, who's our club captain, who's been around now for quite a while, who's the heartbeat of the side in the middle of midfield. A couple of the young players. Seb Scaroni's just come back to us as well. He's one of those that moved on. Just bear with me 1 second.
Yeah, no worries.
That's my little young lad deciding to bring me at the opportune moment. Sorry about that.
It's all right.
Yeah, and we've got a few of the younger boys that will, on their day, Asa Mitchell, you know, he's lively, he puts himself around up the front, he's got a bit of pace about him, and we have a few that I'd like to think will cause problems for you and give you a decent workout in that respect. But, you know, we've a couple of the older heads that will hopefully steady our ship. Yeah. It's probably the best way I can put it.
We're looking forward to it, and it's one of them that you can never underestimate or overestimate anybody in these games. I mean, we've gone for the route of as it seems, booking against opposition, the league above and a couple of leagues above, and I think it's just really just to get he's picked teams that I guess are going to be a test. So, you know, we're really looking forward to it. Have you seen anything of us at all yet? Have you done any scouting?
I've only seen clips, to be honest. No, well, personally, obviously, as I say, for the last sort of couple of weeks, I've been laid low a little bit. So sadly, I've not been out too much. I know Pat and obviously the boys do a lot of background stuff. Pat's pretty much best mates with Tom, so I dare say I know they'll speak on a pretty regular basis. Obviously, you see the clips that you put out there on social media, so I've seen snippets of what to expect, and it's the thing is with this league, it's one of those that you will get teams that will kick you to death. You'll get teams that want to play football the right way, and sometimes you get a nice blend of it. We found in pre-season, we always try and get the bigger clubs for us in terms of it gives us a test, similar to what you're saying. But we also like to try and play teams from in and around our level, just to sort of, I suppose it's a bit of a reality check. I think that's probably the right way to put in terms of what we're going to come up against. Yeah. It's all right playing our teams that are above us and, that are striving for all these great things. But the reality is that as they step up that pyramid, obviously the football is a little bit different. It's nice to pitch ourselves there to see how far off we really are. But, the reality is playing teams that are based at our level, in and around it, whether it be the league below a little bit. We play a couple of teams that are generally in Division 1, a couple of local sides that we know are going to give us a test. They're striving, they're on our level, and I think that's just as important as sort of getting the big draws. We try to get games with Farsley's guys and teams like that, and whilst they're great to get them there, get them down to the ground and get the games in, and obviously similar to what it'll be, I suppose, from what you guys will bring in terms of the support. Financially, it's a great start for us and all that as well, but it's a good test. We really want to do pitch ourselves. We want to get out of this league. We don't want to be that team that's been stuck in this league forever. So, we're striving to get to that status, which is what we're looking at.
And you can never really judge a league campaign on a pre-season either, because we had an up and down pre-season last year, and then the season started and they just come out of the blocks. It was unbelievable. So yeah, no, it's going to be a great game. I've got one last question for you, Andy.
No worries, boy.
What's your score prediction?
Oh, that is putting me on. Do I sit on the fence? Would that be wrong? No, I won't sit on the fence.
I've done five of these. I've done 5 of these, and I've only done one score prediction in the first one, and it was wrong. So I've not done one since. So
I'll go for. I reckon it'll be a high-scoring game. I'm going to go for either 3-2 to us or 4-3 possibly to you. I definitely think there'll be goals in the game. I think it's very early for us, and I'm very aware that you guys have played a few games now as well. So it might be one of those for us.
We shall see. Well, thank you very much, Andy.
Not a problem, brother.
A massive thanks to Andy Patterson from Thackley AFC. We look forward to seeing him and the rest of the Thackley AFC team and committee on Saturday. If you are travelling, like we said at the beginning, tickets are on sale for the Thackley game on the website. You can also get your shirts on the website. And one last thing before I sign off this week. Tony, you're leaving me. Please don't go. Now, in all seriousness, wish Tony the best of luck on his trip back to Ireland. Once a shaker, always a shaker. That's enough from me this week. See you later.